doing? Good.
Roman Hemby, go right into questions. Who wants to start?
Hey, Roman, how much is getting ball eligible? Is that the number one thing on your guys' list right now going in the last 3 games?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Getting bowl eligible with 2 more wins in the next 3, just how much of a motivating factor is that for you guys down the stretch?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely motivating. We've been able to do something very special around here lately, and we want to keep that going. A chance to extend our season, if possible, is something that we really would like to do to get some of our young guys more experience, more bowl practices, and way for us to continue this football family going. So, we take it 1 week at a time. We try to play our best football and put our rocks in the ocean. But, that's something we definitely are striving to reach.
Roman, Rutgers ranks 6th in the Big Ten at stopping the run. What kind of things do they do that make things difficult for guys like you?
They're just really aggressive. Watching them on film, they have a lot of players that kind of jump off the board just by being in the right places, and they play really well together. I feel like they know their schemes really well, and they're able to execute. So anytime you have a challenge like that looming, it's definitely something that somebody like myself as a competitor looks forward to. So I'm excited.
It's been a rough go for you guys on the ground this fall. What gives you cause for confidence that you guys can kind of turn things around these last 3 weeks?
I have the utmost trust in those guys up front, and it's not all on them. Sometimes it's us being in the wrong spots or just, not being able to execute the plays that are called from our offense. So I know that we're one man away. Sometimes it's one cut away. Sometimes it's just one scheme thing away that we practice all week, getting into the details. So I feel like at any given time, any of the running backs could break loose and make a play that will, change the game, and that's what we're looking forward to do.
Roman, this season obviously probably hasn't gone to plan for you. It's your worst statistical year so far. Why do you think that since your sophomore season, it just hasn't replicated that production?
We're young in some areas, and I can't put a lot of blame on anybody else but myself. I really strive hard to make those plays, and sometimes it's just not your day. Sometimes God uses those experiences as, learning experiences for us. So I've been able to, use some of those things that haven't been going my way as learning experiences, so in the future I can make those plays better, or to make myself a better player so that I can make the plays and get back to, playing ball like that.
Does it take some time to kind of accept that? Because I think for most people or fans, you expect like linear growth, right? Like, oh, Roman had a great sophomore year, he's going to have a great junior and senior year. It doesn't always work that way. How do you kind of handle that and handling those lessons and failures?
I put it all on God's hands. He has bigger plans for me, and, I sometimes can't see what's going on or what he has planned for me, but I know that in the greater scheme, he always works things out. So just being a good person and trying to work through it is all I can do, and that's what I've been trying to do. And, my teammates, they see that. I see how they work, and it inspires me to come into the office every day and work as hard to get back to that level.
Roman, do you look back at the Oregon game and think it's in any way a moral victory the way you guys performed against them?
We don't really believe in moral victories. We definitely seen a lot of good things on tape that we can learn from and push forward with. And there's a lot of things that can be corrected, a lot of detailed things that once we get corrected, we feel like we can play with anybody. And I think that was the thing that I kind of took away from that game. We made a lot of mistakes, and we found ourselves in that game. And I feel like if you can do that against the number 1 team in the country, it kind of shows that every game is a winnable game for us, and we have to approach it that way and, work really hard to end up on the right side of that next time.
And obviously, as you mentioned, Oregon, number 1 Oregon is one thing, but this game against Rutgers, does this loom as one of those winnable games that you guys have to have?
I believe every game is a winnable game. I think Rutgers is a great team, and I think we have a great team. We'll have a good environment at home, and, as our season winds down, it's important for us seniors to kind of leave this place on a high note. So that's kind of how we're approaching everything. We're looking forward to putting on a good show and, hopefully getting on the right side of things, because that's the dream of the sport is to win games. So that's what we're trying to do.
Hey, Roman, a big talking point this year has just been your growth as a leader, a vocal leader. We've talked about it a lot. Just how have you approached that within the running back room, specifically with Nolan Ray being a young, talented freshman? What are your conversations like with him? And, what are you telling him?
Our running back room has a lot of talent. I always talk about it and I joke with them because, when I was a younger guy, I kind of seen how the talent was in the room, from the older guys and how they kind of displayed their role of leadership onto me and kind of how I'm flipping it onto them, those younger guys, and seeing how they've been able to grow since I met them is tremendous. And I feel like the room is in great hands regardless of who is on the field because we have such a talented room. And it makes me feel good because I know that being a leader and giving them little things that I wish I had when I was younger will help them out tremendously. And I've already seen a lot of the growth that they made, and I know that they're ready to take it off, and they'll do some special things around here. So it makes my job really easy to kind of tell them little things like, hey, what you just did right there was really good, or maybe, hey, you might want to check this out next time. And just being able to be in their corner, I think it'll help them out, and it helps me as well.
Rome, obviously, you talked about, or Coach Locke, you talked about earlier, just, one thing he's kind of seen through the progression of the season in the run game was, the lack of negative plays where it's not happening as frequently. What do you feel like, you talked about just kind of bringing that young running back room along, but what do you feel like that you guys are kind of doing differently or, doing differently, whether it's in, practice or film session to kind of, avoid those plays?
I think it comes down to just us seeing what's there and taking what's there. I know at the running back position, it becomes times where you get greedy and you want to make that play that changes the game, and you might make a decision that's not in the best interest of the team. And Coach Scott, he talks about that all the time. Like in an offense like our offense where we're trying to get first downs and move up the field, a 4-down run, a 4-yard run is not a bad run. And we know we kind of got back to the drawing board and realized that, if we can get it to third and short, we're in a good situation just because we have a good leader in Coach Locks who calls good plays, and we have a good leader in Billy who can navigate the offense. So as we went through the season, we really worked hard on trying to be in the right places and just getting those gritty runs where we got to put our nose down and get that 3-4 yards that's there, maybe get a yard or two after contact, and that helps the offense, and that's what we've been trying to do, and we've had a little bit of success with that, so we'll keep it pushing.
And actually, just building off that, you just young guy, obviously with Colby gone, you get DeJuan Williams. You get a chance to kind of step up a little bit. Obviously, a local guy just like you, plays high school ball over at St. Francis. But just kind of from game one till now, I guess where do you feel like maybe seen him get comfortable or kind of just kind of get situated?
So DeJuan was an early enrollee for us, so we saw him pretty early. We got to go through some experiences with him, and I've seen his growth tremendously because of the fact his knowledge of the game has changed so much. You guys see what he can do on the field when he's making plays. He has that mindset where he's not scared of anything, not afraid of anything, and he plays that way. But just his knowledge of our playbook has grown so much. He knows what to do. He's playing really fast because he put the time in to learn our playbook, learn his style of play in our offense, and I'm really excited to see what he does in the future.
Hey, Roman, last year on the offensive line, 4 new starters. This year, all 5 are new starters. Can you just talk about the difficulties that poses to the running back room when it's kind of a revolving door on that offensive line?
If you look at our track history with our offensive linemen, we have a lot of offensive linemen that are playing in the National Football League now, so that's what comes with it. When you have a great group of guys that come through here, they learn and they develop, they ultimately make it to their goals of the next level, and we have a new batch that comes in. So I don't really look at it from a negative point of view. I see it how Coach Locke sees it, where we have some young guys that are working really hard. If you guys see them at practice, they're doing everything possible. They're staying after extra film work. They're doing everything that I saw guys like Jalen Duncan and Spencer Anderson doing when they were here as well. So I really don't see it as a negative thing at all. I think that they're going to gel. They're going to continue to build that connection within one another, and I think in the next year they'll be playing at a high level for us. Thank everybody.